Hello and welcome to a new episode of the Lebenspraxis Podcast with your host Joseph Bartz and also with Mariana Hilgert here.
Hi.
In our studio because today we are filming. This is not filming here. This is actually recording. Today we are recording audio inside. You know that often I'm outside, but today we are inside. Also okay, but not the usual. Just for you to have a reminder of that, how I operate. Okay, but we are broadcasting here from Berlin, pretending we are some sort of a radio station. But we wanted to start sort of casual. We have a topic, but we casually go into it, and from there we approach our topic. Okay, Mariana, you are currently, if I'm not mistaken, publishing on your blog that is on your website, integrated into your website daily. Daily you publish there. Why are you doing this?
You're mistaken. No, I'm kidding. You're not. I'm doing this. Why I'm doing this? Because why not? This is a experiment. I wanted to write and I had a blog and I just thought, I'm gonna write on my blog, and I wanted to create for me a regularity on my writing practice. So I just told myself, yeah, let's do this every day.
Are there certain rules about it? Like how long a text has to be or something like this?
No, I don't have an agenda also. It's not about one certain topic. It's about things that are present with me on that certain day. I have sort of a warm-up that I do before I write on the blog.
How?
I journal for 15 minutes. And sometimes some things come up when I'm journaling, like a sentence or an idea or a word, and that leads me to write a text that I publish on the blog. So I don't publish what I was journaling on, but like one small thing. And sometimes it's just something that I had from the day before, or yeah, but it's usually something that is there, present, that arises in the moment after this warm-up that I have. And yeah, or it's something that I'm just interested, like I've been thinking about for some days, and then I'm like, okay, now it's a good time to dive into it.
Has the journaling a certain process, or is this also freestyle, or is there like certain questions that you always answer when you journal? It's
freestyle. I journal 3 pages. It's based on this practice from Julia. What's her name? Julia
Roberts.
No. It's based on a book called, man, it's such a famous book. What is the name of this book?
Never heard about a journaling book from
anyway, maybe some people
called Julia, but
we can put it on the show notes.
Yes, or if we ever find out how this book is called.
I have this book in my house, so I am definitely going to find it out. And I just journal for 15 minutes or more or less 3 pages. Actually,
3 pages is quite decent.
Yeah.
For 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Is this like super flowy? Like, are you writing without stopping?
Yes. This is actually the point of it.
You cannot stop?
So you can stop, of course. But if you stop and you're like, oh, what should I write? You just write, what should I write? You know, like you try not to go into this, what is interesting to put on my journal. It's just like, no, you're basically like tossing ideas, tossing thoughts without any filter. And that's the point of this practice. Or, I mean, there are many points, but for me, that's the point, is that to create this ability of writing without thinking too much about it. Because in that moment, in the context of the journaling, it's not important to think about it. It's not important to like reflect, is this a good idea? Is this a good text? No, it's just an exercise to create, to like warm up your hands.
I used to have an app that was deleting your texts when you were stopping to write. So you put in how much time you have, how long you can stop, for example, 3 seconds or 5 seconds or something like this. And if you would stop before the time was up. So you can also put the time, like 5 minutes. And for this 5 minutes, you have to write. But if you stop longer than 3 seconds in that example, the text disappears completely. It's gone. So this obviously makes you continue to write. I mean, depends a little bit on how important it is what you're writing for you. If it's anyway not really important, then maybe you don't care so much. But I was using it also with writing things that were important for me, that I kept it. So writing a blog post or something like this. Yeah, I used it for some time. It was interesting.
What's the name of the app? You remember?
There are several apps that can do that. And I don't remember the name of something with focus, or I don't know. Like, no, I don't remember. It was super minimal, the app. Like, there was nothing else. You couldn't really choose how the text looks like or something like this. It was really nice. And you could choose if there was some meditative music playing or something like this. It was a good app. And I think especially in the beginning, when you start writing, then maybe there's the most benefit to go through this, what is called writer's block, no? That the fear of the empty page. Yeah. Well, I feel it's good, but at the moment I don't use it at all. I don't even know the name of this app. But what you do sounds similar, just that you don't, the text doesn't disappear. But what are you doing something with the text after, or are you throwing it away, or are you keeping it?
No, I'm not throwing it away, but I'm not publishing this text because this has another quality. I think this is the journaling for me. It has a. It's
obvious that you don't publish it. This you already said. It's obvious that you don't publish it. I just wanted to know if you keep it for your own archive, or if it's really like getting things out of your head, and then it's okay. I rip the page and then throw it away.
First, I just keep it in my archive.
Nice.
But
good to know for the later archiver.
Yeah, exactly. I have a lot of these notebooks, and this is actually one of the reasons why I started also one of the reasons I started this blog thing is because my archive is quite immense of this, little tiny books that I've been keeping all over the place.
And it's always handwritten, no? That you do it?
It's always the journaling is always handwritten.
Is there a reason why you would always do it handwritten and not on a digital device?
Well, when I started my journaling practice,
there were no computers.
There were no computers. Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, it just didn't occur to me that this is something you can do on the screen. Like I didn't have there was a Microsoft Word, but it felt like Microsoft Word is for my scientific papers, and journaling is something that is much more sensitive, and my hands are my contact to the sense, like to this, It's the heart that writes.
Yeah, for me it also seems like a dumb question.
Yeah.
That I just asked.
Yeah.
Like purposefully. Like I would not ask this.
But you did it because you were...
just for the audience. If someone wanted to ask this. Yeah. Just some small service for you. But for me it's clear. Like obviously you do this by hand.
Yeah. But the text of the blog, which is also from my heart, is not done with my hands.
Directly you write it digitally?
Yes.
Or would you sometimes write it? I know that I have seen from you, I think, that you wrote things first by hand and then digitalized it. I think I saw this a few years ago. Very,
like for what I'm doing now, I don't do this at all. But yeah, of course, I've done that. But a few weeks ago, last week, I was building a structure for a text, for a page on my website. And for this, I had I bought this drawing paper block, like painting paper block that is, I think it's A5. And I was just writing things up. And then after that, I did it online. I digitalized it. And for this, I need space, and I like to have a bigger piece of paper. But for the blogging stuff, especially so I can get already into this mode of like this text gonna be published.
Yeah.
I start on my Bear app. I write it on this Bear app.
You write it on the computer?
Yeah.
Always?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, you could also write it on the phone or on the iPad.
No, I'm not that crazy. No, I don't have an iPad. I mean, I have an old iPad, but it doesn't work really. And my phone is just not for. No, I don't know. Sometimes I write down like stuff when I am in the train, like something that comes up, but I just
don't like it. It's too small.
Yeah, the fingers, they don't fit.
Yeah. If I look at your fingers,
you're quite chubby.
Not sure if that's true, but let's pretend it would be.
No, but they take space, and it's just
Yeah. That's why I got that like a big phone.
Because yes,
it was one of the main reasons. Actually, I realized that it's easier to type if the screen is bigger. Yeah, but I still don't like it to type there. And are you doing this every day at the same time?
Yes, more or less.
When?
Just after I wake up, make a tea.
So not at the same time, but at the same moment in that sense.
Yeah, in the same moment of the day. I usually wake up more or less at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like between 7 or 7:30. Today, a bit earlier. But yeah. And that's like straight. That's what I do. I just get out of bed, wash my face, make my tea.
Watch or wash?
I wash my face. Oh, what a face. No, I wash my face.
But this could be also a practice, no?
Of washing my face?
To look in the morning, you wake up and then you look at yourself in the mirror.
And then?
Just silence.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay, you wash your face and then directly you write.
Yeah, not in the bathroom. But
did you just disappear?
No.
Your mind? Because for a moment it seemed like you were somewhere else.
No, I was in the bathroom. I was still like washing my face. And
okay.
thinking, like,
watching or washing?
Washing. And I do my tea. I prepare my tea. This is very important because
is it a certain tea that you drink?
Yeah, it's a certain tea, specific Chinese tea, because I'm doing a Chinese tea treatment.
Are you kidding me?
No, totally not.
What is the Chinese tea treatment?
It's a Chinese tea treatment for my period pain.
Ah, really?
Yeah, I've been doing this for 2 months.
Is this a very certain tea?
Yeah, it's a mixture made for me.
Ah, wow.
Yeah.
It's with tea or with like herbs?
Herbs, different Chinese herbs that are granulated. I don't know if this is a word.
Yeah, I understand.
They
it
make
definitely.
it into powder, and then I put 3 little Chinese spoons, which come with the tea into my cup, and then I mix it with water.
Okay.
And I drink it slowly.
Okay.
And then I write.
While drinking? Like, is it like happening not that you have with one hand the cup but is it like, are you first finishing completely the tea so that we can all have a bit of a picture, or
no.
you sit there? Or
so I put the tea there and the tea is really hot. So I just write and I wait for the tea to become drinkable. And I really don't stop while I'm writing. So I don't drink while I write.
Yeah, I forgot about this.
Yeah.
It's already a few minutes ago that we talked about it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Short
My memory is not so good. Okay, very interesting. You journal, then directly you do this blog post, and that can be about anything. And some are very short, just like a sentence or two, and some are longer. And also what you did is like a series of stuff.
This is something that changed. Like I started it in February, and then I realized that it's a format, and I can expand it in, like I can create different things within this format. So I can do short, small, long texts, and I write them like from the top of my head every day, or I can plan these texts in the way that I can, write them beforehand, or which changes a little bit the quality of the blogging, or just like focus on one topic. And this is what happened with the series that I'm doing now. It's a series based on a book called All About Love from Bell Hooks. And I started reading this book, and it was just so full of nice thoughts, and I wanted to take notes. And then I started taking notes, and I realized I can just make out of these notes, I can make like my own text, because I had so many, while I was reading and taking these notes, I was having my own thoughts on things that happened to me, or like, I don't know, just connections, associations. And then instead of just taking the notes, I decided to make a text out of the notes.
It's an interesting thing about creation, or how it's called nowadays, content creation. This is like an internet term, no, that is used.
The content creation is, blogging is also content creation.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
everything
a content, but
that is content
so
is,
okay.
and so also video or podcast or social media post or something like this. It's all content creation, and that sounds like one way to approach it. If you want to create content, that you have a certain input and maybe the same input, no, because you read this one book and this is inspiring for you, and you use this to help you form your own thoughts and then bring them onto paper. Maybe the question that comes up in my mind is, wait, let's start here. Is there a certain goal that you have with blogging every day?
There is maybe a result I wanted to create, which is sort of a goal, and the result is to be in a creative space, just like be a creative human being. I mean, we are all creative human beings, but my impression is that I was often stuck in the judgment layer of the creation, because judgment is a part of the creation process.
How? What does that mean?
It means that you evaluate and analyze.
You yourself, you judge what you do.
You judge. Okay, you think, rethink, change things and so on. But I was stuck in that process, in the self-judgment process of writing something, or not even getting to the point of writing, because I was thinking, but it's probably not gonna be that good anyway,
yes.
So I wanted to get to that, create that sort of a consistency, or like inner perception of myself, that I can just create things, I don't have to wait for validation of someone else, or wait for my own validation. That's, like my the part of me that is satisfied with I created. I can just create things. And of course it's another question to see if what I create, with the text I'm writing, is they're good or not good. And this is another point of the discussion. And for me, it's about entering into that sort of a waterfall of creativity. It's just like, like this, just keep creating, just keep going, just keep going and writing. And from all of these things that I'm going to write, some of them are going to be, from like the subjective aspect of quality, better or not so good. But that's a secondary. I'm not interested in that. And I believe that the practice is automatically help me in improve the quality of my thought process, of my writing and so on.
I think there's several things. One thing that comes up in my mind is, like, mildly it comes up, is the why question. Like, why do we create things, and why is it a thing? On the one hand, we can, I think let's say it like this, there are a few layers here. So there is the layer of this practice that you just described, like to practice to create. And very clearly, I think this effect that you talk about, that you get better at creation through creating, I definitely see it exactly like this as well. And I think it also is very interesting to create and publish. Not necessarily someone directly has an audience that reads or looks at what you're doing. It can be like 0 people, because if you publish every day, it also can be also a little bit too much for people to follow all of this. But still, to publish and put it out there, that it can be seen, already puts things a little bit into place. And like both is possible, no? Like I can say I publish a lot, and that's part of the creation process, and that's also part of the forming of the creation, because if I know I'm going to publish it, it will be different from if I'm not publishing it. And you are doing both in writing, because you do this journaling before, and then you do something that you write for publication. Yeah. And the complete the other end of the spectrum between like publishing everything, let's say, would be one end, and the other end would be publishing nothing, which can be also interesting. No, it just doesn't necessarily, like, it might get you also to a point where you then publish at some point, but it's a bit unclear if it actually does. Like, it's a bit more risky in that sense if you will ever get to the point where you feel safe to publish. Because now if you publish every day, like, it's normal, no? Okay, yeah, I just publish, and there's maybe less of the publishing anxiety that is coming up, no? If you publish something, then there is this, now I put something
and
out.
Also the anxiety of, am I gonna have something to write about? There's always something. There's like 100 million ideas that are accessible at that moment. You know, if I'm able to stop and like, okay, what is here now? It's I don't wait. Like I feel like it happens very quickly. I'm just sit there. Okay, today I'm gonna write about this, and then it comes. You know.
Yeah.
And this is one thing that I appreciate a lot about this practice, is that it's to notice how, like, creativity is just this. Is not something that you necessarily achieve, but it's something that you just have to access, like this of ideas.
Get into.
Like in yourself, you know.
Yeah, and then I feel if you're really there, then I would like to call it an constant creativity. Like you constantly things emerge. Not that this is the goal of life or something like this. This is without judgment. Like, just this is a state that can happen, that you are in this constant creative space where basically what's coming in and what's happening inside of you gets processed in that creative way, and that can mean. Wait, I would say that it's easier to get into this state if you have more creative outlets. So if you can write, and if you can make something with your hands and draw, whatever, yeah. If you have many different possibilities of letting creativity happen in yourself or through yourself, then it will be probably easier to get into this constant creativity. That's a guess that I have, because I know from myself that if I'm in this mode, then I switch between things. Like, maybe I build something with my hands, then later I take the camera out, and then I take the pen out, and then I take my brain out, and so on. There was a little joke in the end. Thanks for the laugh.
You're welcome. Solidarity laugh.
Yes.
That's how we call
This
it.
is what I need.
There is one conversation that I had, or you guys had, you and Sascha had, about creativity, and then I had a conversation with him on following up that conversation. In conversation, I mean here an episode of your podcast.
Not in this podcast, in the podcast from Sascha and me, Dialog oder Tod. That's a German podcast for the English listeners. Not German-speaking listeners, sorry.
What did you just say? For
English.
Okay, yeah.
They are obviously not just German and English listeners here.
Yes. And in this episode where you guys talked, I think Sascha said something about publishing being one part of the creative process. You know, as if creating something, it doesn't end there.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
It's part of the creative process.
Yeah, it's in a sense, it's part of like this cycle. And for me, for a very long time, just creating, you know, like I write a text and then that's it, was the creative process. It was over.
Yeah.
But publishing it makes this creative process keep going, because that's when it starts, because it keeps developing, and people, you know, like talk to you about it, and then you have another idea, and then you enter into this net, this, you know, spider net of associations and new ideas, like this Zettelkasten sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I like that idea. It's one of the things that Sascha said that really stayed with me.
Well, why is creation a thing?
A thing.
No, how shall I call it?
Yeah, a thing, like why we do it?
Yeah.
Or is that,
why is there an urge to create?
Is that not a bit obvious in our nature? Like we're just...
Yeah, that's a bit of a... Yeah.
Too easy for an answer?
Yeah. But I also don't know the answer. I have also no idea, really. I cannot say anything like really to the point about it. I would just sort of swim around the island and not put a foot on it. Yeah, maybe we just leave that question for now, but we can let it run in everyone's head. But there is another thing here that is something that I was thinking about lately, is that there is a lot of creation in the internet nowadays, no? Much more creation than or publishing, let's say, much more publishing than anyone can ever digest, or like in every second there's so much published. Which is an interesting situation, because sometimes it feels for me that one narrative that people have is that you have to publish a lot and very regularly. And it seems, at least, that the mechanics of some publishing platforms like Instagram, in a sense, Instagram is not really a social media platform, no? Because social media, what does it mean? It means that you are talking with your friends, or what does it mean, social media? Because what's happening on Instagram is you publish your stuff, no? Why is this called social media, actually?
Well, but you create, I mean, I think I understand.
Because publishing is also always social.
Yeah.
TV also is social media. No, because you cannot comment.
Yeah.
That's the thing, that you can comment on.
I think, it's more like this direct... I
but
can interact directly
YouTube
with this.
is not called social media, but Instagram is called social media. I don't understand the difference, really. Because what's the difference? That you can write like personal messages on Instagram, and this you cannot do on YouTube.
You can also do that on YouTube, right?
No, you cannot write personal messages.
You can comment only. Okay.
That's, by the way, that's super weird, no? That I cannot write someone a message on YouTube. Then I always have to search for the email if I want to contact them. I find that I mean, somewhat is good, so you don't have another channel where you write with people, but you can just do it through email. But then sometimes people don't put their email, and then it's like, how do I contact them? I have to find out if they have their website, or I have to comment. And it's not that I do this regularly. It's actually, I never do it, but this... Anyway, it came up a few times. I thought I might contact this person. So I have a list of people that I might contact at some point, but and it was always a little bit of a struggle to find out their email address. Anyway,
but funny enough is YouTube, like even though it's not sort of social media, it's like people, you know, you go, like sometimes I do this breathing routine from, oh gosh, today really out of all the names, the breathing guy,
Wim Hof.
Yes, thank you.
This is a cold guy, no?
The cold guy. And then you have a look on the comments, and they're like people talking to each other. You're also here today. Yeah, I'm always here every day.
But that's a live stream.
No, that's not a live stream. It's a live stream in the sense that the comments keep going on, you know, keep going.
It's quite social.
So it's very social. And I find this not to happen so much on Instagram. That people are not like really
YouTube is
talking.
more social than Instagram.
This is only an observation from one video of Wim Hof, you know. So let's not create a general rule.
Thanks for saving me.
Yeah,
but I was about to make a big mistake here.
But my perception is that it just doesn't work so good on Instagram. And I had an attempt of, I did this online dance program last year, and I created a private group for people. And there were like 25 people in the group, and I thought, and then everyone is going to be in this private group, and I'm going to post a video every day, and then people can just comment below the video like, this was nice.
Wait, you have to say, where did you...
On Instagram.
Okay,
this
you didn't say this.
This was the social media
How do you create a private group? You made a private account, no?
Yes, you just create an account that other people cannot see.
And you just approved certain people.
Exactly. And then in the end, I was talking to a few of the participants, and then one feedback was that Instagram was just not really community. You know, it's not really fostering conversation or interaction with other people. It feels like it's not a nice room to be in, you know?
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. Yeah, interesting.
I don't know if it's because of the phone, and then you feel it's like tight.
Depends on the size of the phone also.
Depends on the size of the phone. And of course, if you're using it on your phone. Yeah.
But let's get back to the point that there's a lot of publication, and many of these platforms work in a way that you, in a sense, need to publish regular, because in the feed of publications, things are coming up in, I don't know what order. Like, I know that Instagram, they have changed this here and there, like changed it from, you see what is published most recent. And then also they had that you saw things in an algorithmic way, like what is most interesting for you. I have no idea what's going on there now. I don't have an Instagram account for some time now, so I really don't know what's going on there. I'm sometimes on Twitter, and actually, honestly, I also don't know how it works there. They have list 2 tabs. They have a tab that is like more algorithmic, where you also see things of people that you don't follow. It's like a mix. And a feed that is only the people that you follow. But I'm also not sure if it's by publication or it has some more complex algorithm by recentliness of publication. But if it's about how recent it is, then your posts basically disappear relatively quickly. No, because other people are posting as well. Depends obviously about on how many people someone is following. If someone is following you, so let's pretend there is a guy or a girl called Alex, and Alex is following you, but also following 500 other people. and these other people are also publishing. So now if it's the most recent, then maybe you post, and then 5 minutes later your post will be already like further down and harder to see.
Is this how it works?
I don't know.
Okay.
That's one way to do it. That's one way to do it on these platforms. And it's definitely, the thing is now how I describe it is not a good way, no? Mm-hmm. On the other hand, it makes everything equal in that sense that there's not an algorithm choosing what you're seeing. So there's pro and cons, because the algorithm is also then making choices, and these choices might actually not so good, because it might be that the algorithm is interested in what you interacted with, because it wants you to spend more. Not that it has a character or something like this, but the people that programmed it want you to spend more time on the platform. So they will show you more things that you like. So they try to figure out what you like through what you interact with and what makes you stay and blah, 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 blah. And then it might be that you see something not anymore. There's things that you don't see anymore, although they would be still interesting for you, but somehow you didn't interact with it. Mm-hmm. So both has pros and cons. In a sense, both is bad. Because one is creating this frenzy of publication, that you always have to publish to be seen. Mm-hmm. And the other one is you don't know if you will be seen or not. And then this whole thing about hacking the algorithm starts, like making your things that people interact, and then people write, comment or tag a friend or comment if, how is that, with these dumb questions where you always think, what question is this,
it's just so, I often, when I read this comment below blah blah blah, I don't know if it's because I internalized this already as a question that people would just ask on Instagram, but I never feel like people are really interested in what I have to say.
Yeah, if you understood the game, if you were like, I mean, not that it's like a behind the scenes knowledge or something like this, because it's pretty obvious, but let's say if you have created content yourself and you opened your eyes for the strategies, it's like so clear, like that the whole thing is full of it.
Yeah. I often read stuff on Instagram or just see something that I enjoy, and then I don't comment.
Oh no.
And and maybe that's I'm just not playing the game in the correct way, and then people also don't comment. I don't know, but in the end,
I comment quite regular on YouTube, actually, on purpose. Yeah, to help other people, because I know it's important, and not that. I mean, if I watch a video that has already like 500,000 views, it's not that someone needs my help there. Yeah, but it's still, I think it's still a nice thing, because I know for me it's nice if people comment, because it gives me also it provides me better feedback than just the views. Because the views, I don't even know what is a view on YouTube.
What is a view?
Yeah, I have no idea. Like
people just open and close?
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what a view is. But if someone comments, I know, okay, cool, you watched it and it's worth enough for that person to comment. And I want to give also this. So if I watched a video and I liked it, then I comment. Even if it's just, hey, nice video, thank you very much. I often say thank you.
Yeah, I see, okay. That's a very... honorable posture to have in YouTube.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not about my honor, but
but it's just you're thinking also of supporting the other person, and not just like this was a nice, because this is a thing often in this social media context, and I'm putting YouTube here now as a social media according to our inconclusive conclusion, that you just you are somehow supporting people. You're not only just watching the content and then closing your computer, but you are somehow letting the other person know, hey, I acknowledge.
Because I create content myself so regular, I know that this is not something to just silently consume.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah, I know
understand.
that there's the least thing that I can do. Sometimes there is this on YouTube that you can send a super thanks, it's called, no? You can send a few euros and so on and so forth.
Okay.
I haven't actually done this yet, but I'm about to start with doing that. It's a relatively new function. I think it exists for a year. And now I started to realize, hey, for example, I watched some videos about how to do some stuff with the camera. And I thought, wow, this is so valuable, this content. Like, I don't want to just consume it for free. I want to give something back, and not just a comment, but more than that.
You know, one thing that came to my mind now, like, why is it that people don't comment so often? I'm just assuming this, is that they are so overwhelmed or over socialized. It's just so much content that they consume all day long that it feels like you're not even touched anymore by something.
That might be one thing.
Just let me finish the thought.
Sorry.
And it's okay. And last week I published a text in Portuguese, and then I got on my blog, and then I got like 5 comments from my aunts and my mom, and they were like, you know, this was just so nice, because they read that and they're just fresh.
Yeah.
You know, because they're not circulating so much in social media, and they're like, oh, I really like this. It's so nice to read what you write. And it's just like, oh, that's so, yeah, this is so fresh that you really, you can sense that people really mean it. And now
I would agree that this is one thing. And I think another thing is that a comment is a publication. And if you are really not used to publish, and the thing is, on YouTube, many people are also not having an account. You can watch YouTube without an account, not like Instagram or something like this, where very quickly you have this wall in front of you asking you to sign in. But anyway, it's a publication. No, if you comment, you publish also something. So, and that's why many people also on YouTube, many publish under some weird pseudonym,
like 00.
Yeah, or just or just a name, even if it's a real name, but you can never be sure on YouTube that that's the real name of the person. Of course, if you know that person, but I sometimes have people commenting with a name that sounds like a real name, but then in the end of the comment, they comment with they say thank you, and then their real name, and then it's clear, okay, you make an account with a blah 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 to all this privacy stuff. But it's also, my opinion is has 2 sides about it. Like, on one hand, I think it's nice, like, to have this privacy on in the internet, sort of, that you have. I mean, in the end, you could always track your IP address or something like this, but maybe if you're online with a VPN. But on the other hand, I think it's also then, to hide behind that. I'm not sure if I like it so much. No, because that also makes people often comment in ways that they would maybe not comment if they would be really. I mean, anyway, people are talking a bit different in the internet often than if they would stand in front of each other. My communities, I'm lucky with that. Also on YouTube, like, it's very little that I get some comments where I think, okay, now someone is really too deeply and too anonymous here in the internet, and just appears suddenly, just this video appeared and the person's just commenting some random stuff, doesn't understand what's going on, and then disappears again. And then I just also maybe delete it, or I write, I put things in context for that person. But that's maybe also quite a bit of work where it's not clear how worth it is. All right, but let's get to a conclusion now. My conclusion, what I want to say in the end is, one thing is to publish a lot, and I think there is value in this regular publishing. It's a very good training. And the other end of that thing, or the other side of the coin, is that we are in a world where people feel like a need to publish and publish and publish, and there is how can you say it? Like it becomes very mechanistic in that sense, yeah, like a factory, publishing factory. Like this is what people maybe are prone to, that they want to build something like this. How can I publish more and republish my stuff and re-edit it so something old as new, and there are all sorts of strategies about that, where it's suddenly becomes more about publishing than about the actual content. That's the not the fear, the risk of it. That can be a risk, because that's the question that is in my head. You know, why are we publishing? And it's not about just creating and just publishing. No, this is like further down in the process. There's something behind that, and the creation is, I don't want to say tool, because it sounds a bit mechanistic, but anyway, in lack of a better word, I will say tool. It's a tool for that thing that is behind it, where we both struggle at the moment to understand what it is, or at least to put it in words. I feel an understanding that is beyond words, but not an understanding with words at the moment.
I think that this, what you mentioned now, is one aspect that is, very I would say important for, like, in the critique of the social media, in the kind of over content world we live in. And at the same time, there is enough people out there who are struggling to let their creative spirit flourish, because they are so worried about what other people are going to think of them, or that it's just not good enough, or blah, 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 blah. So it's funny, right? Because these are like two aspects of the same practice. But they are not the opposite. Like the opposite of not being being stuck in not publishing is not publishing, like what you said, because I think there is a change in quality. Like, for instance, maybe it's going to sound like I'm trying to defend my project, but when I publish every day, there is like this process of thinking about it, and then building the text, and then considering things, and it makes me very alive also. It really supports my energy for the day, and gives me this feeling of like purpose, and nice, okay, something came to me, and I was able to put it in form. And it's different than this, like, I feel it's different than this over publishing where you're just like, I don't know, posting, or I don't know. There's something about consumption of content.
It's about the attitude also. I think.
Maybe
the approach.
I'm also struggling with the words. By the way, I remember the name of the Julia that I mentioned in the beginning, Julia Cameron. And she wrote a book called The Artist's Way. See? You remember?
Sounds like it. No, I actually don't remember. But The Artist's Way sounds like a book, like, you know.
Probably,
so, it sounds like there are several books with this title, actually.
This is the iconic Artist's Way book.
All right. Good. And if you struggle also with your words, then there could be a very nice fading here from that into another thing, but actually nothing comes to my mind. So, whatever. If you want to support this show, you know what the easiest thing is. We already talked about it. Leave a comment or send it to someone that you like that would benefit from that. Yeah, because reach is power in the internet, power to create more. It's very simple. Alrighty. And hear you next time. Tschüss.
Bye. Hear you next time?
Yes, this is what you can maybe say, no?